Hello, Public Access presents All About Books with Paul Kinkade.
Welcome to the show All About Books. Somehow you found us and we're glad you did. We're the show where we read them so you don't have to. Before we get on to our first guest for this evening, I have to deal with a delicate subject. It seems 2 weeks ago when we had Mr. Thomas Crisp on, we ended up getting a kind of a complaint letter from the ABSA, the American Bee Safety Association, who is concerned that I would taser the bee in my attempt to save Mr. Crisp's life. Well, I have proof here. Juan, could we get a close-up? This was taken in the infirmary shortly after the bee was tasered. You can see that he's fine, he's intact, his intestines aren't hanging out, and we'll get on with the show now. Thank you. 3 years ago, tonight's guest was living in virtual obscurity, and then all of a sudden he exploded on the nation with none other than the firecracker condom. According to my notes, this is the best-selling condom in the country. And to learn more about the man and the company, let's welcome Mr. Stephen Silo, author of the appropriately titled The Load Warrior. Good evening.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here too. Now tell me, when you decided to go into the condom business, I understand from the first several chapters in your book that you developed this product using common household items in your kitchen. Would you care to elaborate?
Well, I believe that you have some misinformation there.
Oh?
Yes. I came from the oil industry.
The oil industry?
That's right.
Well, isn't it true, though, that the oil industry and the condoms both require some pumping?
No, that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
If you'd care to say it that way.
Okay.
And actually, the condom was the result of an accidental explosion in the rubber factory.
I see. The rubber factory. Was this nearby your home?
Oh, it was in my home.
It was in your home.
Yes.
You have a rubber factory in your home.
Well, I did.
You did, until it exploded.
Well, and when I got busted.
Oh, I see.
That's right.
I see. Well, how many designs did you go through? In other words, I suppose I want to ask, what was your breakthrough in developing the firecracker condom?
Well, you know, when you have a rubber explosion,
Yes.
rubber tends to splatter all over every extremity.
Oh.
And so we just started pulling it off of Ned.
Of Ned.
Yeah, off of Ned. And
Did some of Ned come off with it?
no, just Ned's hair.
Just
you know,
okay.
and he was okay with that.
Okay.
He was okay with that. It was a
Okay.
kind of a depilatory incident.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
So we just pulled pieces off of Ned and tried them on in various places and found that some of them were appropriate for insemination prevention, if you see.
I see. Okay. I notice, I suppose the title that you came up, the name of your product, Firecracker Condom. Why the firecracker?
Well, when you have an explosion in your factory,
Uh-huh.
it goes off like a firecracker.
Uh-huh.
Not to mention the fact that, that was the beginnings of it, but then there were several reasons why we decided to stay with firecracker.
Uh-huh.
First of all, some firecrackers have a short fuse.
Uh-huh. Are you
And,
speaking from
from
personal experience?
Well, you know, after you've tested as many as I have,
Uh-huh.
you tend to blow off pretty fast here.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So, and you know what, the different sizes of the rubbers that came off of Ned, some of them were appropriate for short fuses as well.
Uh-huh. And so who was your first test subject? Do you consider that to be Ned? To actually use the product?
No, because Ned was in the hospital for a while.
With the burns?
No burns. No, there weren't no burns. But some of the rubber didn't come off real easy, and so it was right thick.
I see.
Yeah.
Parts that didn't come off, are they still on?
Are they still on what?
Ned.
Well, no, we got them all off. We got them
Eventually.
all off, yes.
Well,
we
that's
did.
good. That's good. Well, I notice one of the reasons for the popularity of the firecracker condom is the slogan that I believe you came up with, and I'll quote you from the book. For cheap protection, you're in luck. Firecracker condoms. More bang for your buck.
More bang for your buck. Well,
So that was the start of it?
I have to be honest with you.
Yes.
It's all marketing. It was a happy accident that rubber factory explosion happened.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the slogans, title of the book, it was marketing. It came up.
I see.
Came from
Okay.
marketing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no discussion about your book would be complete without us addressing the somewhat dubious claim in the book that you personally test the product before it is sold to the general public. Do you care to elaborate?
Well, in the beginning, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. And, we were only testing about maybe 1,000 a day at that time.
I see.
You
And did you test every one or every 10th one? Or?
No, everyone.
Everyone.
Layers,
Layers.
extremities.
Extremities.
Some of them, if you can stretch it over your head,
Yeah.
it ain't going to pop.
Okay,
on
it
a
ain't going to
penis.
pop. So after you test them, you treated them with disinfectant of some kind?
Every 10th one,
Every 10th one.
like you said.
Okay.
Every 10th
Okay.
one.
What kind of disinfectant did you use?
Well, it's amazing what you can do with a little bit of beer,
Beer?
And then we always had beer around, so
Uh-huh.
we figured the beer was good enough disinfectant. It's got alcohol.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So you found that you felt that was satisfactory enough to market the product safely.
Well, that's right. You wrap it in fall.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Silo, before we go, I wouldn't want to leave the audience, our viewer, lacking. Could you put up a copy of the cover of his book for us? Okay, thank you. Well, Mr. Silo, I want to thank you for being on our show. I'm glad that you don't personally test all the condoms now yourself, but the firecracker condoms that you do touch and test, it's a little smacks of criminality. I hate to say it, but
It's easy for you to say.
well, yeah, it wasn't that easy. So, but basically, it's a crime. But in your case, sir, it's an inside job.
I have a special gift for you, Mr. Kinkade. These were personally tested by yours truly.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. However, when I was 20, well, made in Thailand. You're outsourcing.
Thailand?
Yeah.
We are not. Every one of them was made in the good old U.S. of A.
Uh-huh. Firecracker condoms, where the rubber meets the load.
Marketing. Gotta love the marketing. I don't come up with any of that shit. I just make these things, test them. I wrote the book. I didn't literally write it because I was busy during the production of the book, and so I did.
What were you producing? Everything but kids.
And I did it. I did all the book by dictation, so to speak.
You heard it here.
That's right. And so all this market and stuff, I never read the book.
Well, it's probably a good thing.
Yes, that's true. And I don't know. Did you? How about you? Did you read the book?
You kidding? We read them, so you don't have to.
Right.
You didn't have to, did you?
No.
Okay.
I didn't have to write them either. But
No, I
it's
know, but
little
it's marketing.
bit of extra cash.
Bit of
That's
marketing.
right.
Well, that's all the time we have for this guest.
Nice to meet you. Nice to make your acquaintance.
Yeah, I'll bet it is. I'll bet it is. Stick around. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
for cheap protection, you're in luck. Firecracker condoms. More bang for the buck. Firecracker!
Well, we're back, and wasn't that fun? I see our guest is still sitting here, so I guess it's time to say, Mr. Silo,
Yes, sir.
thanks for joining us on All About Books.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome.
It's been a load of fun.
For some of us. Well, that's about it for tonight. Be sure to join us next week where we're going to have a very special guest just for our viewer. Aren't you lucky? I'm Paul Kinkade. The show's all about books where we read them so you don't have to. This is Public Access TV saying see you next time.
Does this hard hat make my butt look big?
Everything makes your butt look big.
You've been watching All About Books with Paul Kinkade. You can find Stephen Silo's new book, The Load Warrior, at the following shops. Stephen carries a box of condoms and a box of books everywhere he goes in his blue trailer, so be sure to catch up with him and get him to sign your book. He's also available every Monday downtown Ventura, where he sells hot dogs and, of course, hot condoms. He's again happy to sign anything you'd like him to. And then you can always visit him way down in Tennessee, very far from Ventura, where he signs copies of The Load Warrior at none other than the condom testing facility. How lucky is that? You've been watching All About Books. Have a great evening and we'll see you next time. Good night.